Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of MMA and Coffee. On this episode, it's a recap of UFC 213. Alright, so the first fight we're going to talk about is Anthony Pettis against Jim Miller.
Yeah.
What'd you think about this fight?
I think that I called it.
Right?
I sort of called it. It didn't really go down. I figured Pettis was going to win, but he didn't win the way I thought he was going to win.
So, interesting thing about this fight was everyone's like, Anthony Pettis is back, he's back. And I kind of felt like Miller went into his game. He stood in kicking range. He didn't pressure him. He gave him respect, and he allowed him to outpoint him.
Pettis, I mean, he looked better than he has, but he still didn't really look like he used to. Because normally, if someone stands with him the whole fight like that, he finishes
them.
And he, like...
At one point, though, I seen him, he got way more confident because everything he was throwing was landing. You could see off his body language. But I felt like, stylistically...
That said, we kind of knew if Miller stands with Pettis, Miller's going to lose.
Right.
So I don't really know why
I was surprised Miller didn't. Because they were all saying Miller's going to brawl with him, he's going to pressure him, and he kind of didn't.
I think
he just got back a lot.
He got caught watching him, kind of like he's like he just didn't know what to do.
It was more like he was worried about what Pettis was going to do instead of
doing his own thing.
And pressuring him.
Yeah, sure.
So glad he got a win, but I'm still kind of leery because I thought Miller just didn't fight him smart.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if, the confidence booster alone might be good.
Yeah, he needed it because mentally, something was going on there.
So we'll see where he goes from here.
All right, so next fight is Overeem against Werdum 3. People are saying controversy. I don't know.
All right, here's the deal, man.
What do you think?
The first round, unfortunately, not much happened, y'all. Like, it was just, they kind of felt each other out. There's a little give and take. It was kind of boring relatively.
Filling out process.
Yeah, it was a filling out process of a round. The second round, Overeem dictated the round. He caught Werdum at one point. He won that round. I feel like it was pretty undisputable. That was his round. But then, after having his best round, then the third round, Werdum catches Overeem with the knee and then decides he's content by just laying on top of him and rides the round out. And he definitely won the third round. So then you have 1-1, and unfortunately the fight came down to the boring first round that no one remembers. And so they're acting like it was controversial when really I knew the judges could have gone either way. While watching that, I'm like, I had no idea who they were going to pick.
So I thought it could have went either way.
I didn't think it was controversial.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I thought it could have went either way based on the first round.
Yeah.
And the only other decision I would have been okay with, which one judge gave it,
a draw.
Which is a draw. So they gave Werdum a 10-8. Yeah. They didn't give him the first two rounds, and they gave it a draw.
Yeah.
Either way, I think I stand with everyone with I don't want to see him fight again.
No,
the second fight was like kind of like this. This fight was kind of like this. Like even if they got a draw, I don't want to see another rematch. Like their fights, they kind of equal each other out.
They're not great fights.
They're not.
It's not a great trilogy. It's kind of weird that they fought 3 times. It just shows you how long they've been around.
Yeah, the only way Werdum wins this fight is if it was pride rules and they judged the fight better, like more towards the end.
Yeah, because he definitely won the third round more dominantly than Overeem won the second. Yeah. But not enough. Enough for 10-8? Maybe not. Not enough to win the fight, though. All right, so the only other thing I'll say about that fight is Overeem getting a title shot. Give me a break.
No.
I mean, the only reason he would is because there's nothing else going on right now. No one's ready.
Right.
But he doesn't deserve a title shot.
No, he don't. And as I was watching the fight, they're like, this is a contender fight. And I'm like, is it really? They both got knocked out by Stipe.
Yeah.
And like, come on.
No.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a great performance where like they're back.
Right.
Like get
and it wasn't a dominant win.
It wasn't like a fight to get you excited for the Stipe rematch.
No.
So I don't agree with that. All right, so the main event, Robert Whittaker against Yoel Romero for the middleweight interim title. I like this fight.
It was a good
fight.
Honestly, I feel like people are kind of overhyping a little bit too much because the 5th round's crazy. But before that, the fight wasn't. I mean, it was a good fight, but it wasn't like a classic, and it wasn't an all-time classic in my opinion.
Oh no. I mean, to me it wasn't boring. I liked both fighters.
Well, the first 2 rounds that Romero won were pretty boring, but when he gassed is when it got interesting.
Okay, so it's interesting because you could tell he's more trained for a 3-round fight.
3-round fight, Romero wins.
Yep, 3-round fight, he would have won because he won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
3rd round, he put off, and actually, let's talk about the beginning. He kicked Robert's left knee,
and it
blew it. Yeah, he messed up his leg.
Yeah.
So Robert had to adapt.
He had an injury the whole fight.
Yeah, so I was really impressed by that. The one thing that stood out to me the most with this fight was Whitaker's takedown defense and the push kick. I think the push kick to the body, it allowed Romero to stay away so he couldn't get close to taking down, and it slowed him down.
Even when he did take him down, he got back up.
He hopped right back up, but I think the kicks was really, like in the beginning, not so much, but towards the end of the fight,
it kept Romero away.
I think like culmination, like volume of that kick over and over slowed him down. It really helped. To me, that was the main. Like Whitaker had a great game plan.
So this is what I like. This is something that it seems like everyone's afraid to do in MMA. When they're fighting a person that's a better wrestler, they will not throw kicks, and it makes them predictable. And a lot of times they lose. Whitaker actually used kicks to keep the wrestler away. Not many people do that. Honestly, it's the first time in recent memory I can think of someone successfully doing that in a title fight.
That's true.
Like if more fighters adapted that, maybe that's a new strategy we'll start seeing. Whitaker had success with it. So, you know, sometimes all it takes is one fighter to do it, like Anderson kicking Vitor in the face. No one did that kick before that. Sometimes all it takes is one fighter having success using a new strategy for it to spread throughout the sport. So I liked it. That was my favorite thing from the fight, that we saw someone beat a wrestler in a way we normally don't.
Right, and also what was interesting to me too is really this is the first time we've seen Romero look beatable. Like we've seen a good game plan against him. So I don't know if he's going to be as dominant from now on if he keeps fighting, because now I see people maybe trying
in a 3-round fight, he still looked pretty hard to beat.
Well, in the first 2 rounds when he's fresh, good luck beating that man.
I mean, he showed
a lot of his stuff is just physical. Like he's just physically stronger. He just muscles.
The muscles they eat up oxygen.
Lactic acid. So once he gets tired, though, that's when you start to see you can pick him apart. But I think the body kicks, that's something we might see other people look to do if they want to beat him.
Yeah.
So I thought he had the perfect game plan. I was impressed, especially.
He weathered the storm,
and he
outlasted him.
He showed too that he can overcome adversity because he was on one leg basically.
Yeah.
So I'm also excited about the Bisping and Whitaker fight. I know Whitaker's not really promoting it by trash talking because he's a nice guy, but I'm excited about it. Actually,
Bisping will.
He
already started.
Yeah, I think this fight is actually closer than a lot of people think, because people are just looking at Whitaker. His last two fights, he looks great, but we have to
me, it's the more fun fight. It's the more fun fight.
Right, but let's be real. Jacare and Romero, they're grapplers.
Yeah.
Bisping stand up. He's not going to look to take him down.
It's going to be a stand up fight. It's going to be a fun fight. And talk about Bisping dodged the bullet on that, because Romero is probably the worst style matchup for him in the division. So I thought not saying that Whitaker's easier, but style wise, he's not as bad of a style matchup. I think both
of them, they give.
It's a different problem.
They both offer different problems. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts, bro?
That's about it. I'm ready. Middleweight's interesting.
Oh, okay. So the main event, Nunes Valentino.
They know that by now.
They didn't. That fight didn't happen.
No.
I don't see it being on 214 because we have 3 championship fights. Maybe 215. Maybe. I know that fight should happen pretty soon because both fighters, neither one had injuries. They both did fight camps. They were in shape. They both made weight. Just Nunes got sick, so they should make that fight happen pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm expecting another couple months maybe.
Right.
But anyway.
All right, so that's what we thought about UFC 213. What'd you think? Let us know in the comments below. See you next time.